My name is Damone, 17 years old.
And then if you could say, and I've been in SEG for however long you've been in here.
Been in segregation since last year, August 11th. My out date ain't until September 19th this year.
So did they tell you how long you'd be in SEG?
It's kind of the reason why my out date so long, because I didn't know when I was getting out. So I got to acting a fool, and then I caught a year down here. So they gave me a year SEG, and then they finally gave me my out date when I was supposed to get out. And I was supposed to get out the next week. I was already down for 3 weeks, and I didn't know when my out date was. So I got to acting a fool. And I finally wrote the counselor, like, when am I supposed to get out of CCU? And he was like, well, you was supposed to get out in another week, but I got a year or so, and now I'm supposed to get out September 19th.
So that's another 6 months. So you'll be in SEG another 6 months. And you've already been in SEG
6 months.
6 months. Do you start to go crazy after a while?
In my room, yeah, really, yeah. I mean, but you gotta deal with it, because there really ain't nothing you can do about it.
Trying to explain to someone on the outside who's never seen a SEG cell, who's never been in a SEG cell, but what's it like?
Man, it's like being like a dog locked in a cage. There ain't really nothing you can do. You gotta make something out of something.
So what do you do? Do you name some of the things you can do in a tiny SEG cell when you're in there by yourself and you're going to be there for a year?
What I do is sometimes I study, I write raps, play with my hair. I just got the radio back a couple days ago, because I lost my radio when I first came down here, all my mail, everything. That's the bad thing about coming down here. They will lose everything you got. Everything. I mean, they lost everything. I had my mail, legal mail, stamp, radio, everything. I was like on my last leg, really everything. So, man, I'm doing cool now though. Just got the radio back. I mean, it's cool, but it's way much more you can do when you get out.
Was this your first time in SEG? So first time in SEG, you
Got a year.
got a year. So what brought you to Wabash to begin with? What were your offenses on the outside that brought you to Wabash? Robbery. So was it like a random thing you decided to do one day? Tell me about it.
I regret doing it now though, because I'm really missing all my child life, but I mean, on some I don't care stuff, just really robbed them for no reason. Didn't have to, just joking around.
Was it somebody you knew? No, just a random?
A restaurant.
A restaurant. So you just walked in during the day? Was it open or what?
It was open. Just really don't like talking about it, but just robbed them.
Did you ever think you'd end up as a teenager in an adult prison?
It's hard to say, but yeah, I knew it. Because when I was 13, I was locked all the way up from 13 all the way to 16. I had just got out of boys' school 2009. And I caught this case January 2010.
So how young were you when you first started doing this stuff?
My first time ever getting locked up was when I was like 7 years old.
7?
7. For busting some windows out. And then, like when I was like 10, got locked up. I got back out when I was like 11. I did like a week and a half. and I got back out. And then I was cool. I ain't never get locked up again till 2006, August 30th. I got locked up. I did 6 months at this placement called Resource in Indianapolis. And then I never completed it because I was acting a fool there. Then they sent me back to my juvenile center. Then they sent me to Kokomo for 6 months. And I never completed that, so they sent me to boys' school. I was in Indianapolis Girls' School, which is a boys' school too. I did 6 months there. That closed down, so they sent me to Pendleton. And I was there for 15 months. And I finally completed it and got out. And I just had to do some stupid stuff. Got locked up on this case.
You've like never been home. You've spent your whole life in either a placement facility or a juvenile detention center or a juvenile prison or now an adult prison.
Like, I'm really like, I'm not used to it, but I'm used to it. Like, I know how it is. Like, so I can really like go along with it.
I just think people will find it unreal to believe that since age 7, I mean, how does it start at 7? I mean, you were so young.
Had family problems, so really wasn't nobody there to lead me on. Really don't know my daddy like that, so really had nobody there to really teach me what to do, what not to do. I was just really on my own. So it just happens.
Were you in the child welfare system? Yeah. Do you remember what's your earliest memory of being in the child welfare system or being in the system at all?
What you mean like us?
Like, did your mom have to go to court? Did she lose
custody
of you? She lost her parental rights to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember all that?
That was like, yeah, I remember. I was like 8 or 9, one of them. I know that's when it really started to happen though.
Did you just sort of feel like at that point, I don't have a childhood anyway, I'm just...
Nah, because I really felt the same way because when my mom did lose her rights of us, me, my little brother, and my sister, I was with my family still because my grandma took custody of me. So I was still seeing my mama every day on a regular basis, same thing. I just wasn't living with her. So I really felt the same. It was different though because she wasn't around. Like, I couldn't really be around with her.
Hold on one second. So you, your sister, and your brother then were then raised by your grandma after your mom lost custody.
Yeah.
And then do you just feel like after that you just started getting in trouble, doing stuff you
I'm
shouldn't?
not gonna blame it on that, but that's part of it. Act like this, because I act like this. I don't know, it's just me. But that was really part of it too though.
Did you ever get depressed about not having a normal childhood? I'm like, did you notice that other kids weren't going through what you were going through?
It's like I grew up fast, so I really couldn't really pay attention to it. But now that I think about it though, when I'm sitting in my room, because when you in these rooms, that's all you got is time to think. So if you say you ain't got time to think, then you lying. Something wrong with you, because that's all you got is to think. You locked down 23 hours a day, and most of the time 24. So I think about like, I'm about to be 18 April 28th. And I've been locked up by 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13 I was out lucky. And all the others I was out, but that's all my teenage life.
Do you even really remember what it's like to have complete freedom to just be able to walk out of a house? And...
No, really don't. So when I left boys' school, I knew I was released, but I was nervous because I thought I wasn't supposed to be leaving. Like, I had that thought, like, on my grandma, because I was waiting on my pictures, because I was in segregation, because they forced me to say because I was so bad that it was on a Wednesday and I was supposed to get my commissary, but I couldn't get it. So I got to throwing chairs and stuff. And they like, well, you leave next Monday, so why is you crying about commissary? That wasn't the point. I wanted my food. So they put me in SEG. And I left all my pictures there when I went to VR to get released. And my grandma was like, where's your pictures and stuff? I'm like, it's in segregation. So we waited for like 5 minutes. So she's like, do you even want them? I'm like, no, because I was ready to leave. So we ended up leaving. But the whole time we driving back, I'm looking back. I was nervous because I didn't want to go back. And I was surprised. I was really thought it was a dream again because I have plenty of dreams of me being out. And I wake up and I'm just still locked up. And I was really surprised that I really was out. I never thought I'd do it.
Were you almost afraid to get out though, because you were so used to what life was like locked up? Was it hard for you to think about, when I get out, I have all this freedom, I can do whatever I want?
No, I be thinking like, it's fun. It's not fun being locked up, but like, by me growing up around all these dudes that's my age, and I know so many of them because I've been knowing them for years, is like I'm used to having fun with all of them. Like we're used to fighting, throwing chairs, acting the fool together. So when I'm getting out, I know I can't be doing all this because I'm gonna get a big chance of getting locked back up. So I do say it was fun, but I don't want to be here no more, man. I miss my little brother too much.
So how is your little brother? What's going on with your brother and your sister? Do you know?
My sister, you wouldn't even want to know. She supposed to get out of girls' school the 29th of this month.
So she's
Incarcerated too.
incarcerated in a girls' prison.
And she get out on the 29th of this month. She about to turn 20.
And what about your little brother?
My little brother, he at home.
So he's not in the system yet.
He young. I hope he ain't never in there.
How old is he? Do you know?
He about to turn 9. Yeah, he probably 9 already, one of them.
Is he still with your grandma? Did you get any visits? No visitation. Did you get any visitation when you were in Pendleton at all, or no?
It's another thing that like, when I first got locked up when I was 13, I was getting told that they was gonna come visit me a lot, all that at boys' school. But then I got used to it because it wasn't that they was lying. It's just my grandma used to tell me it's called tough love. So I guess that was her way of punishing me, like no visits. She write me every now and then, but it's cool. And I'm used to it now. Like when I first got here and I was in my county, I never even filled out a visitation list because I knew they wasn't gonna come. But
Doesn't that make you feel sad?
it do, but so used to it, like, like my mama, she don't even write me. Never had wrote me, not one time since I've been here. Not one time.
When was the last time you saw or talked to your mom?
Talked to her when I was at the county, like around April something, last year, about a year ago. That was when I talked to her. The last time I saw her was when I was out, which is 2009 or 10.
Do you think she cares about you?
I know she cared about me deep down, but she don't show it really.
Has she ever shown it to any of your kids, do you think?
Not that I can really, yeah, she had, but I mean, I know she can do way better though, but not really.
Do you ever feel sorry for yourself? Like, this really ultimately isn't my fault. Like, if I would have had a different life, maybe it wouldn't have been spent in lockup?
I can't really blame it on my family history, because I know most of the stuff that I do it like it's my fault. But I can say, like, if I probably would have had a better background, like if I would have had a father figure there, like to lead me on. And my mom, she was always locked up too. When I was young, I can name plenty of times when she got locked up. But that's probably part of it. But I wouldn't blame that, because I mean, I do it.
If somebody were to watch this interview and say, I want to help that kid, what would you hope somebody would want to help do or help make life better for you?
Really, I mean, so basically what you asked me is like, if somebody was the one to help me, what would I need help with?
Yeah. What would you want them to do?
I mean, main reason why I do most of the things I do because by me growing up, I never really had everything I wanted. And now that I know how to get it, which is in a bad way, but I know how to get it, I get it, but I get caught for it. So really, I just want somebody there for me. Not say I just want everything, but I want somebody to be there for me, help me get what I want.
So if you got out and somebody said, okay, I'm going to set you up with a decent apartment, or we're going to set you up with a job, we're going to get you started, do you think that would stop you from?
Yeah.
Really?
I already said that. I was talking to my attorney, and I was begging her, like, if y'all can put me on house arrest, because they put me on house arrest, I'd never cut my bracelet off, because that's just saving me. I ain't got to go nowhere. But they just put me on house arrest and give me a job, man. I probably won't do half of the things I do.
So you don't think you would still feel the need to rob or get things in a bad way if you had a job and were living a normal life?
Because I know that, I can pay for it still, but it's just the way I get the money to pay for it, it gets me in trouble. But like if I'm getting the money and it's money that's legal money, then I wouldn't do it because I know that I'm all good.
So are you nervous at all thinking about, right now you're in the youth unit, but obviously you've been in SEG, you're going to be in SEG for a while more. Are you nervous at all about the thought of eventually being in with thousands of other adult prisoners? Does that scare you at all? No?
I really don't.
You don't feel like you'd be a target because you're a young kid?
No.
Do you think that's ultimately where you're going to be? I can't remember what you said your out date is.
My SEG got there in September 19th.
And what was your initial sentence? What'd they sentence you to? How many years?
8 years due 4.
8 years due 4. So you will have served a little over a year by the time you get out of SEG?
Close to 2 years. But I've already maxed out, so my out date is 2018 right now.
Your out date is 2018? And it's 2011?
But today, I've been clear for 3 months, and they got some type of little thing where if you go clear for A and B writer for 3 months, you get your credit class back. You got 3 credit classes. You start off on credit class 1. I'm supposed to go back down to credit class 2 today, so my out date gonna go down to 2015 today.
You think you can do it? You think you can not act a fool, as he said?
I'm trying hard. Because I got ADHD. I'm not gonna blame it on that, but in my room, I ain't got much room to wander around and do what I want to do. So, kind of like stress a little bit in there. And can barely sleep in here because people talk, kick on the doors, flood.
How do you process that mentally? Like every day when you wake up, I'm in SEG, I'm going to be in SEG for another 6 months. Mentally, what does that do to you? How do you process that in your mind?
I'm really used to it because I've been locked up so long and I've been in this situation before already, so I'm really already used to it. So if you'd have asked me this back when I first got locked up doing this, I was stressing a lot. And I was like, I wouldn't say I was scared because I was locked up, but I was scared because where I was at that age. But, I really got used to it now, so how to deal with it.
What would you want people on the outside to know about you? What kind of kid you think you really are compared to what people might think you are?
Well, I can't say I am smart, talented, and I love sports. I mean, I'm a real nice kid, man. If you really get to sit down and know me, but it's just people probably think I'm a bad person because of things I do. But they got to think about what the things I do and why I did it. It's because I don't got nobody there bonding for me. Nobody. I mean, I got people like my grandma. She try to give me $100 every month. My shoes that I buy just $100 by itself. So they're really, I ain't done that. $100 really didn't do nothing. Same way you gave me that, it's gone in 1 minute. So really, I'm really a cool kid, man. It's just the things I do to get what I gotta get.
Would you say overall you think kind of all the kids in a place like this are deep down good kids? Or what would you say to people about kids in the system in general?
I can name a handful of kids. I'm not gonna say their name because probably not my problem to say that, but I can name a handful of kids that I know that's real smart, and it's a couple of them on the juvenile side that got family there for them that they don't like. They got family members buying them, got good money, buying them everything that they want, and they trying to be all hardcore and try to hang out in the streets. But when if I had a family there for me to do all that, I wouldn't do none of this. I mean, I got a family, but they can't really support me like that. So that's why I get into arguing with a couple of them because I be like, y'all family kids, why y'all do this? I mean, I wish I had a family. I mean, I do, but really, it's all messed up.
Last question. If we were going to come visit you in a couple of years, 5 years, 10 years from now, what do you think you'd be like? What do you think your life's going to be like?
Well, if you said 5 years, I will be out of here. And hopefully I'll be living good how I plan. I hope I'll be living good how I plan. It's a small world now.
Your final wish?
I got a wish. Wish I could get out of here earlier than I can. Really, that shit really it. Just wish everybody that got problems to make better for them.